Okay. Can you see my screen?
Amazing. We can see your screen now, Emanuela.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So before we start, I would very much like for us to just say a word of prayer, just a moment of prayer to God. Wherever you are, just bow your head and just say a word of prayer for appreciation and asking that He will help us to go through this topic today and that we'll be enlightened and enriched. Thank you, God. Thank you. Amen. All right. So our topic for today is breaking invisibility, women rising to lead in underserved spaces. This is a topic that is very important to me. And when I got the topic, I was very surprised. And at the same time, I was very pleased because it's something that I definitely can relate to. And so, in order not to waste time, we're going to go right into it. This is a table of content. This is just an overview of what we are going to be talking about today. All right, let's begin. First and foremost, what is a woman? What is a woman? What is a woman? I find it very peculiar that many people do not have a proper definition of the word woman. Particularly in the West, you see people having arguments about what it is to be a woman, about what it means to be a woman. And it's not, being a woman is not necessarily what you make it to be, right? Being a woman is not by the color of clothes that you wear. People think because if you wear a dress or you wear the color pink or you get your hair done, you get your nails done, you get your lashes done, you get all these things done, it means you're a woman. None of those things necessarily make you a woman. None of those things necessarily make you a woman. Being a woman is not merely the absence of male genitalia, because if you say, okay, I'm a woman because um, I have a fuller chest, that would then mean that those people who claim to be women after going through surgery would be right. And that is not correct in my books, in my understanding, that is not correct. So what is a woman? What is a woman? A woman is an office. Let's just start from there. A woman is an office, a person who has the posture of help and strength, a multiplier of seeds. A woman is an office, just in case you didn't hear me. Now, I'm someone who um, likes to live my life in my Bible. I'm a devout Christian, and please permit me to digress a bit. I believe that even in Islam, the story of Adam and Eve is not new to us, right? It's not new to us. And when God created Adam and He created Eve, He called Eve a helper of Adam, someone who was going to be his helpmate, right? Now, the word help, that word help in Hebrews means Ezra. It means Ezra. The first time we ever see the word help in the Bible, it's when it was describing Eve. And the next time we see help in the Bible, um, it's when David was speaking to God and he was calling him his helper. David was calling God his helper. That's someone who was able to bring him out of great difficulty, someone who was able to ensure that he is sustained, someone who has greater strength than him, even. And that word, that root word Ezra, that was used to describe God, is the same word that was used to describe a woman, that was used to describe Eve. So when you say that you are a woman, you are someone who has the capacity to help others and to help them greatly. You are someone who has the capacity to multiply. You are someone who has the capacity to be strong and to carry. Depending on wherever it is that you find yourself, you are a pillar of strength. I just have to lay this foundation because it's very important that we have an identity of what a woman is. And for those of us who are here listening, who are women, it's very important that you have this understanding, this consciousness of who you are as a woman. You are not ordinary as a woman, right? Okay, so let's go. Next slide. We're going to be talking now about leadership. What is leadership? What is leadership? I have two sets of scholars talking about leadership. The first set of scholars are male, and the second set are female. So over here we have Warren Bennis, and he's telling us that leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Harold Kuntz and Cyril O'Donnell tell us that leadership is the art or process of influencing people so that they will strive willingly and enthusiastically towards the achievement of group goals. So it's a process of influencing people when you are able to carry people along in the plan and in the goals and in the visions that you have. You can effectively say that you are in leadership or that you are a leader, right? Now let's go on to our female scholars and this is what they have to say. Now, Brene Brown says a leader is anyone who takes responsibility for finding the potential in people and processes and has the courage to develop that potential. Wow. Let me take that again. A leader is anyone who takes responsibility for finding the potential in people and processes and has the courage to develop that potential. Anyone who is able to find the potential in people. It's not just about leading people. It's about being able to harness their skills, being able to harness their talents and bringing out the best of those talents and of those skills in them. Indra Nooyi says, leadership is about achieving results while caring for people and helping them grow. Now, permit me to make this distinction between leadership for men and women. Now, our male scholars, they went straight to the point, right? They said leadership is about translating vision into reality. They said leadership is about helping people, influencing people to willingly strive for and achieve a common goal. That's very straight to the point. But then we see how the women take a slightly different approach. It's still the same goal. You're still going to be, influencing people. You're still going to be making sure that goals are met. But at the same time, you are carrying them. You are nurturing them. You are ensuring that they are trained. Exactly. That is the word. You are ensuring that they are trained and that the best of them is brought out and brought forth, right? The best of them is brought out and brought forth. So when you are a leader, as a woman leader, as a female leader, it's important that those people that you are carrying, they get the best of you. You are able to identify their strengths, you are able to identify their weaknesses, and you are able to bring out the best in each of these people. Now, for instance, I run a foundation, right? I have a team of people that I work with, volunteers who are in video editing, graphics design, voiceover, artistry, community management, and so on and so forth. I know the strengths and the weaknesses of each and every one of these people. I know how to get them to do the work that you're supposed to do. I know how to ensure that everybody is carried because at the end of the day, you must be able to connect with them. You must be able to connect with them. And that's what makes leadership as a woman special. If you are, it's something that I was listening to a podcast. I believe it was on Thursday, listening to a podcast. And they were speaking about how if you want to work with Gen Z, for instance, if you want to lead the Gen Z, you have to let them know that you care. They don't care that you know. They want to know that you care. Did we get that? One of the speakers said they don't care that you know. They want to know that you care. And it really stuck to me because I'm a Gen Z as well. And many times it shows up that way in my work. When I work with people who are too harsh or quote unquote harsh, who are difficult or very stringent in their ways, it can be very frustrating, right? And so in my position as a leader, I try my best to make sure that everyone I am working with is carried because I'm working with mostly Gen Z. There has to be that emotional connection that you make with them. It is very, very important. It cannot be overemphasized. You have to be sure that people that you are working with can testify that you are not only pleasant to work with, you're not only someone who can get the job done, but you are someone who cares enough to find out how people are doing. Right? All right, so let's continue. Now, we're going to be talking about the 5 pillars of effective leadership. The 5 pillars of effective leadership. Now, number one on our list cannot be overemphasized. This is something that I had to learn very early and very quickly. Your communication skills, your ability to communicate affects everything else. Your leadership, your teamwork, your negotiation, your conflict resolution, your trust, and your influence. It doesn't matter who you are. If you are unable to communicate effectively, if you're unable to communicate and speak the language, that's what I'm looking for. If you're unable to speak the language that someone is speaking to you, you are going to miss it entirely. There is no way you're going to get your message across if you're not able to calm down and speak the language of those that you want to hear you. Now, I want to quickly relate this to the work that I do as a founder. I schooled in Nasarawa very briefly for my master's. And in Nasarawa, the languages most common there are Hausa and English, to my knowledge, Hausa and English. And I remember a time I went out and I was trying to communicate with this woman, trying to, speak to her and encourage her. And she could not understand what I was saying because I was speaking English. Couldn't understand what I was saying. And it's something that I had to take very seriously, having to now learn Hausa or learn the languages of the places that I am in, right? Having to make sure that people can actually understand me. Now, bringing it back and setting it up in a corporate setting, the way you speak, the manner that you communicate, your tone, the words that you use are very, very, very important. Very, very important. The way you speak to your colleagues is not going to be the same way that you speak to your boss. The way you speak to those who are quote unquote below you, non-auxiliary staff, exactly. The cleaners, the drivers, is going to be different from the way you speak to an important visitor who's coming to the company or who's coming to the place of work. It's very important that you know how to communicate as a woman. Very, very important. Now, I'm not saying that you have to stifle your voice because many of us as women in the corporate world, corporate spaces, underserved communities, just in general, in society in general, we're expected to be quiet. We're expected to be docile. We're expected to be meek and to be gentle. And those are not necessarily bad things, but they're not always good either. So the knowledge comes, the wisdom comes when you understand how to communicate, knowing when to say what and how to say what. It is very, very important how you communicate with people, right? All right, now let's go on to the next point, the next pillar of effective leadership. This has to be my favorite pillar, one of my favorite pillars of effective leadership, ruthless execution. Ruthless execution. In the work that you are doing, it is very, very, very important that you prioritize every single task that you set or that comes your way. Prioritize every single task that you set or that comes your way. If you know that you have to get something done by a particular time, do not relent. Do not relent. Do not relent. Be sure that whatever it is that you're setting your mind to do, you do it on time. You don't waste time. I think that that's something that I had to come to understand very quickly. Time is money, and money is time. If you're going to spend time on a particular project, you have to understand how to maximize that time such that you're doing it quickly and you're doing it well. So aside my role, my job as a founder, um, I'm also a communications and media officer, right? And so what that looks like is me having to do certain work. For instance, I work also as a graphic designer, right? And my job in that line will have me, make graphics for my company and post them, make videos as well, post them. And these requests come weekly, sometimes daily. They come weekly, sometimes daily. And I have to be sure that I am getting the work done. Don't sleep on your job. That's essentially what I'm saying. I remember a time, funny story, I had 3 jobs. I had 3 jobs. So as of last month, I had 3 jobs. And so one of the jobs that I had, I got a design request as a graphic designer. I got a design request to make 100 individual um, graphic design graphics flyers rather. Pardon me. I had a request to make per 100 graphics rather in like 3 days. I was very, very confused because it's not like I got um the request at an early stage. I didn't get it on time. I didn't get it on time. But I knew that they were working with a deadline. And if I could not deliver, then my inability to deliver would stall someone's ability to post, would basically just stall the whole process of getting the work in general done. And so I set my mind and I was like, okay, I have 3 days, but then by God's grace, I was able to get it done in 2 days. Why? Because I know that this particular thing has now become my priority. It's the biggest job I have to do right now. And if I don't finish it, I won't be able to go on to other more important things. I will not be able to go on to other more important things. It's not going to be possible. Now, there's something that one of the women I look up to says. She says, always under promise and always over deliver. Temilade Salami. I don't know if we know her, but she's a climate change advocate and speaker. She said, always under promise and always over deliver. Whenever it is that you get a task or there's a task assigned to you, for instance, be sure that you are getting it done. Get it done quickly. And if you're able to do that, you're going to be able to translate that ability to those that you are working with or those who are working for you or working under you. It's very important. If you have a track record of ruthless execution on a personal level, on a work level, it's not going to be difficult for you to replicate that amongst people who are working with you, working for you, or who volunteer with you. In the work that I do as a founder, we have a standard of sending out posts every week on a particular day, and it has to get done. It doesn't matter who it is that I choose; it has to get done every week on Wednesday. We're putting something out. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter. You have to get it done because if you are not getting your work done, then you're stalling our progress. You're stalling the work that we have to do online. And at the end of it all, it's not going to be very pleasant. So my second pillar of leadership, of effective leadership, is ruthless execution. Whenever work comes to your table, get it done immediately. Whenever it is that you have to assign a task to somebody, make sure that they are able to deliver quickly. That can come in check-ins, in regular check-ins, just texting them, making sure that they are, doing the work that you ask them to do and ensuring that it gets done at the end of the day. Right. So the third pillar of effective leadership, are we still together? Pardon me. Are we still together?
Where are you, Manuela?
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Now, the third pillar of effective leadership is resilience. 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 Now, it is important to note that true leadership begins with you. If you are able to lead and carry yourself effectively, you'll be strong enough to face whatever is thrown at you by life. Resilience is so, so, so important in the work that you do as a woman leader. Very, very important. Society today will be much more content to see women take on certain responsibilities, take on certain roles where they are not too loud, where they are not too obvious, where they are not too visible, right? And that's why we're even having this conversation today. But it is very important that we are resilient in the work that we do. So last month, like I said, I mentioned earlier that I had 3 jobs last month. And unfortunately, that meant that I had to really divvy up my time amongst my 3 jobs, my personal life, my family life, social life, life at church, in the other places that I volunteer as well, because I don't just lead, I also volunteer. You will always have to be in a place where you are submitted to someone, submitted to leadership, right? And so I had to really, really stretch myself last month. And I was getting to a place where I was starting to get tired. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I have so much on my plate. Will I actually have time to talk to my people? Will I have time to encourage them and to address them and to make sure that everything is still getting done the way that I would love it to be done? Is there time? Do I have the strength? And I was in a very, very, sad, low place. But then I remember thinking to myself that this work that I started, it's not just for me. It's not just for me. I'm not the only one that is benefiting from this work. There is a lot at stake in my ability to come back, in my ability to push back at my challenges and ensure that this foundation continues to move forward. Yes, right now we are in a tight place. We have obligations at work in our 3 jobs. We have obligations at church. We have obligations at home. We have obligations to our friends. Everything is happening right now. Everything is a lot right now. But it is important that the work that we started, we do not lose sight of why we started. It's important because we are not the only ones. We are not the only ones that get to be impacted by the work that we are doing. No, it's not just for us. There are people whose lives are tied to our pushing back. There are people whose destinies, even whose salvation, whose redemption are tied to our coming back and pushing back and ensuring that the work continues to get done. And so resilience is a power that you must possess as a woman. You must possess it as a woman in leadership. You must possess the power, the skill to be resilient. Every work environment has pressure. Every work environment has setbacks, has criticism, office politics, rejection, and uncertainty. But standing on your convictions while adapting intelligently is critical for long-term success and leadership growth. And that's something that I had to work on personally now, speaking for myself. I had to work on when um, I was able to finally get time. And I had to begin to divide my responsibilities and put the ones I want to put in priority and the ones that I can, take a little bit more time or will take a little bit more, where I don't have to worry too much about those particular roles, right? Or those particular responsibilities. And so it's very important that you adapt intelligently. What are the plans you are putting in place to make sure that you continue to come back? You continue to come back. You continue to come back. You are like a rubber band. It's already in you. It's already in you. As a woman, it is already in you. It is only a woman that you give a seed and will give you a tree. It is only a woman whose womb, when she's not pregnant, is very small, very, compact. And by the time there's a fetus growing in her, the womb begins to stretch and to expand. And then when the baby is born, it goes right back, it shrinks right back and comes back to normal. You are like a rubber band. Just think of yourself as a rubber band. No matter how far you stretch yourself, you must be able to come back. That is exactly what resilience is. No matter how far stretched you may feel, or how far gone you may feel, or gone you may be, rather, your ability to come back, your ability to stand on the reasons why you started the work that you started in the first place is the very thing that's going to carry you through and to ensure that your goals are met at the end of the road. At the end of the road. Now, the fourth pillar of effective leadership is empowerment, self-empowerment. I cannot emphasize how absolutely important it is to be empowered. I cannot emphasize. Back in school, it was a custom, it was a habit almost, for most of the boys in my class to answer questions. Very, very common. I'll be like, okay, most of the boys are answering questions, and I didn't really have an issue with it. I didn't really see what was wrong with it, because I also answered questions. I also asked questions from time to time. But then the male teachers would come to class and they would say, is it only boys that are in this class? Why can't girls answer too? Why can't girls talk too? Even my female teachers, I think we had like only two female teachers at the time, and she would come and she would say, oh, I'm very disappointed in you. Why are you not speaking? Why are you not talking? And then I realized that the reason why many people do not speak up in class or in meetings is not because they don't have anything to say per se. It's because they don't have enough knowledge on the topic. They don't know enough about what is being spoken of to be able to contribute effectively. And that's something that made me begin my quest, would I say, my quest for knowledge. At all times, you are getting something, you are adding to yourself. You cannot lead people, and it's something that I had to learn the hard way. You cannot lead people on whose level you are. Like, okay, people who you are leading, you cannot be on the same level as them. You can't. In order to effectively lead people, you cannot be on the same level as them. If people that you are leading are on level 2, you have to be at least on level 4. You have to be at least on level 4. You have to know exactly what you're doing, because leadership is about bringing people from where they are up to your standard, up to your level. And your level keeps increasing, which means that they will also keep increasing. Empowerment is very, very important. I want to encourage us, please. It's something I say even amongst my friends. Please read, take courses, take classes. There are so many online learning sites, online learning platforms that you can take, you can visit to ensure that you are empowering yourself. You already know that as women, we have to do so much more. We have to do so much more to maintain the positions that we are at, right? In order to avoid, messy speculations or messy rumors. You have to be empowered mentally. You have to be empowered mentally. You have to know your stuff. In the books that you read, in the news that you consume, the podcast, the videos that you watch, empower yourself. I cannot emphasize how absolutely important it is. The more you know is the higher you go. The more you know is the higher you go. If you are working with a set of individuals, bringing it now to the corporate space, if you are working with a set of individuals and you position yourself in such a way that you know a lot and you are able to apply the knowledge that you have, making it thereby wisdom, people are going to look for you. It goes without saying. You are always going to be sought after. Your boss will look for you. You don't even have to do much. By the time you read, you assimilate, you process what you have read, what you have learned, and you are able to, with that knowledge, think up solutions, think up answers, and apply them. Nobody will announce you. You would have announced yourself. Why? Because you are adding to yourself daily. You are learning daily. You are increasing daily. It is very, very important. Take courses, please. Even if you're at home, perhaps you're trying to finish school, your bachelor's degree, or you're getting your master's done, take extra courses. I'm telling you, this is the game changer. This is what changed the game for me. Take extra courses. No matter what it is you're doing, take extra courses. There are so many platforms you can learn from. There's Coursera, there's Udemy, there's Great Learning, Domestica. There's so many. You can even learn on YouTube. That's how I learn mostly. That's how I learn mostly. I learn mostly on YouTube, University of YouTube. Yes, that's where I'm at. There's so much for you to learn. There's so much for you to see. And the more knowledge you have is the more your capacity increases. So I want to encourage all of us today to please continue to develop yourself, continue to develop your mental faculties, continue to change and transform the way you think by what you consume. By what you consume, right? Okay. So then the last pillar of effective leadership. The last pillar of effective leadership. The last pillar of effective leadership is mentorship. 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 This is something that we many times overlook, but is absolutely important in the work that we are doing. Let's think about it. God forbid, but perhaps something happens to you today and you are unable to continue the work that you started. Who can you point to and say, okay, I have poured myself into this person. I have poured my knowledge, my wisdom, my expertise into this person or into this set of people. And I trust that with what I have given to them, they'll be able to continue the work for me. Is there a single person that you can call and say any of these things about? Let's just reflect now. Let's just think about it now for a moment. Is there anybody that you can point at and say, okay, if something happens to me today and I get hospitalized, this person, I have replicated myself in them so much that they are able to continue the work that I have been doing, that I am doing, and fill in that gap, close that gap. Is there anybody? All right. All right. So I want you to think on that. Mentorship is very, very important. Mentorship becomes more important as you grow into leadership. Replicating yourself through others creates lasting impact, but it usually comes after you have established credibility through communication, execution, reliance, and self-development. Can you see that? Everything is a step-by-step process leading ultimately to mentorship. Leading ultimately to mentorship. You must have had a track record of being credible in your actions. You must have had a track record of being a great communicator, or being somebody that can speak to whoever it is that they would want to speak to and get their message passed across. You must be somebody who has a track record of execution, ruthless execution, being able to under-promise and over-deliver. You must be somebody who is resilient, who has a track record of resilience, who has a track record of consistency in the work that they do and in your self-development. By the time you have gained all of these things, you have to pour them into somebody. You have to have somebody that you have replicated these things to. Even if it's one person, it's very important that you mentor somebody. You mentor somebody. Very, very important that you mentor somebody. Permit me to digress, but uh, Moses, for instance, Moses in the Bible, he had an apprentice. His apprentice was a man named Joshua. And then Moses had to die. He died, and Joshua continued in his stead. Imagine Moses did not have a mentee. Imagine did not have one person who had worked closely with him, who he had taught specially, who he had carried along. Then there will be no leader for the people of Israel. There will have been no leader. So it's very, very important that you have somebody that you are teaching. You have somebody that you are carrying. Very, very, very important, right? Okay. Now let's go on over to the next thing on our agenda, which is the steps to breaking invincibility. The steps to breaking invincibility. The number one step is to be unapologetically bold. I cannot tell you how important this is. Be unapologetically bold. I have a particular mentor, and I have learned so much from that man. He says, even if it's that people are going to think you are doing busybody, you are carrying your matter on your head, there's nobody who will carry your matter on their head. At the end of it, there's nobody that will carry that is able to carry your matter on their head more than you. Be unapologetically bold in the things that you do, in the way that you speak. Make sure that everybody knows what it is that you are about. So that when opportunity comes, you can easily point to you, can easily refer you and say, okay, I know somebody who can get this job done, or I know somebody who is into this thing, or I know somebody who can do this. If you are not bold, you're not going anywhere. Basically speaking, if you're not bold, you're not going anywhere. Remember when I was starting out in the work I started doing in my graphic design, and I was thinking to myself, wow, nobody knows me. How am I going to get money? This and that. And then I watched a video by this woman, this wonderful woman called Haley Mulenda. I don't know if any of us here knows her. Haley Mulenda. She calls herself Mrs. Money. And she said something that really, really struck me, that it's still in my brain till now. She said, you are too broke to be invisible. My goodness. That sat me up very quickly, very, very quickly. And that's where I had to learn to start speaking up. I had to learn to start talking more about my passions, talking more about the things that I did. I had to learn to start putting out the work I had done in previous times so that people can know that, okay, this is what Manila is about. This is what I do. This is what she does. Um, this is what I am about. Essentially, be bold, be bold. Let people see the world through your lens. Let people see that you are doing what you said you would do. It is very, very important. I cannot overemphasize this one. Now, the second step to breaking invisibility is having a visible digital footprint. Having a visible digital footprint. I was speaking earlier about my mentor, and there's something that he said. I think he said it last month that really stuck to me. He said, "You must learn to love the camera. You have to learn to love your camera. See that phone that you have, the phone that you're using to listen to me now, that you're using to join this conversation, the phone that you use to make call. You must learn to love the camera. You must learn to love it. No matter how shy you are, no matter how scared, quote unquote, you are, you have to learn to love your camera. You have to love being in front of the camera. You have to love being able to speak. You have to love being able to act. You have to love being able to demonstrate so that the work that you are doing gets visibility. One of the videos that I put out on our foundations group chat, our foundations page rather on Instagram, had to do with women and children being treated inappropriately online using AI tools, right? We're using AI tools, we're using Grok rather to take off the clothes of women and children. And I just sat down in front of my camera and I made a simple video, just, calling it out, criticizing it. And all of a sudden I was everywhere. The video did pretty well. I don't want to say it went, but it did okay. It did pretty well. And that's when I knew that your ability to be visible in what you're doing will go a very, very, very long way. You have to be visible. Your digital footprint has to be visible. Imagine now we live in a world where technology is the norm, AI is the norm, and you are not putting your works out online. Let's say you are a content creator and you have an Instagram page and you're not posting frequently. How are you going to be able to defend yourself when somebody says, "Oh, I want to hire you," and they go to your page and they don't see anything worthwhile? How are you going to be able to defend yourself? If you make clothes, you tailor clothes, you are a seamstress, a stylist, and you don't have pieces that are going out every single day that you have done on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, on wherever it is that you're posting, people cannot see what you are able to do, then there's a problem. You cannot break invisibility if you're not putting out your work. You cannot break invisibility if your digital footprint is not visible. People are going to they're going to check back. They're going to go back and look at the back end of what it is that you say that you do. If you say that you're a content creator and you don't have many videos on your page, then you're already in trouble. If you say that you are a graphic designer and you don't post frequently your finished works that you have done before, you don't frequently talk about the tools that you use, you don't post your portfolio from time to time, then you're already in trouble. You're already in trouble. You're already in trouble. So your digital footprint absolutely matters. It is a brick in your reputation, in your credibility. It's very, very important that your footprint is visible. Very, very important that the work that you're doing as a leader, as a founder, as a CEO, whatever it is that you're doing, you must have a back end. You must have a track record of being able to produce results. And that usually comes in having a digital footprint, right? Right. Now, the last step that we're going to be discussing today on breaking invisibility is being able to collaborate with others, networking upwards, networking upwards. Now, I'll give you a very interesting situation. So, in my class, because I was a student of history and international studies for my bachelor's degree. And in my class, there's so many, wonderful high achievers and people who get the work done essentially. And so out of the girls in that class, about four of us, yes, about four of us have foundations, have people that we lead essentially. Four of us in that class have people that we lead. Now, um, obviously, some people started before us because God Democracy Foundation is relatively new. It started out last year. And meanwhile, the people that started out in 2023, 2020, this and that, they started out pretty early. Now, it would not be very wise of me to now say, okay, because we are all in the same field, we are all doing the same thing, I'm not carrying my shoulder and begin to, parade myself and begin to try to compete with them. It's not possible. It's not very wise. It's not the wise thing to do. Competition with those who you ought to collaborate with will eventually kill you. It will eventually break down the work that you're doing. So it's very, very important that in your quest for visibility, the people that you you collaborate with them. Don't compete where you ought to collaborate, essentially. Instead of now, feeling insecure that we are just starting out, others have gone ahead, they are doing so well, they are doing this, they are doing that, comparing myself and then putting my energy into competition. No, reach out to them. Oh, I see that you have gone ahead of me, you have paved the way. What are the mistakes that you made that I should not make? What are the things that you wish you knew earlier when you were starting? That's the way to go. Network upwards. Be intentional about the relationships that you keep. Be intentional about the way that you interact with those who have gone ahead of you. Be very, very intentional. Because if you interact with them and you see that you're willing to collaborate, your potential will eventually increase. They will, at a particular level, at some level, they will divulge their secrets to you. They will divulge the things that they do to you. And you will now have the expertise, you now have the knowledge of how to be better in whatever scope of work that you're doing. You will know how to be better. You will know how to get things done quicker, how to get things done easier. And so this is my counsel. This is my presentation to you today. I want us to have a very quick recap um before we call it a day. A very quick recap. Number one, what is woman? A woman, you as a woman, you are an office. You are a carrier of strength. You are a pillar. You are a multiplier, right? That is who you are as a woman. I want you to always remember that for every one of my beautiful ladies listening to me, listening to me right now, you are a leader. You are full of strength. Don't let anybody make you feel different. Don't let anybody break you down or make you feel a particular type of way. You are full of so much strength. You are full of so much capacity. That is who you are as a woman. Now, leadership. Leadership is found in your ability to carry people along in the work that you are doing. This is a recap of what we've talked about so far. For those who are just joining, um, this is what we've done so far. As a leader, it is very, very, very important that you carry people along in the work that you're doing. Make sure that they can see that you are not just, imposing your desires on them. You are making sure that you are carrying them along. You are bringing out the best of their skills. You are bringing out the best of their potentials, and you are helping them to level up in the work that they are doing as well. Now, the last thing we're going to speak about, or rather, I think we're going to speak about the pillars of leadership. The first one is communication skills. Very, very important that you learn how to communicate well. The way you speak, the tones that you use, the words that you use are very, very important. Number two, ruthless execution. Don't sleep on your work. Whatever it is that you have to do, whatever goals that you set for yourself, keep your word to yourself and get it done on time. Get it done on time. Third one is resilience. Push back no matter how tired you get, no matter how stressed you may feel, no matter how um, no matter how far you fall and you come to a place of despair, even or hopelessness, it's important that you get back up and you continue because it's not just about you. Have the knowledge that it's not just about you. The people that are tied to you, people that are waiting for you to manifest, so to speak, so that they can also receive redemption or receive salvation. Be resilient, stand strong, stand firm on your convictions. Number four, empower yourself, learn. Be very, very intentional about learning the books that you read, the courses that you take, the news that you consume, the things that you watch online. You have so much time. You have data, you have electricity. You are privileged enough to learn and to learn effectively. So please, no matter how small, even if it's 10 minutes a day, devote time to learning. The more you learn is the more um indispensable you are, is the more indispensable you are to your work, to your world entirely. Last but not least, mentorship. Be able to replicate yourself in other people. Let it be that all of the knowledge that you have, the wisdom, expertise, the way you carry yourself, you are putting it into other people. You are making sure that if something happens per se, not even if something happens, but just making sure that people are able to, they are able to see that it's not just you. You are leading people, you're carrying people, and you are bringing out the best of them by putting yourself, a measure of yourself in them as well. Last but not least, please be bold. Don't be shy. There's no space for shyness in this work that we're doing. As women, there's no space for shyness. If I don't know if you heard about this girl, but probably would, dark skinned Ella, the girl that was speaking up about the BRT buses and the shortages in Lagos, how they will come to terminals at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., and they will not see buses until it was like almost time for resumption. And imagine if she was not bold, imagine if she was not brave, imagine if she just, kept to herself and just managed her business. There will be no revolution. There will be no exposure of the things that people are facing in Lagos as regards transportation. So be very, very bold. Be unapologetically bold. Speak out about the things that you're doing. Now, imagine that she did not have her phone out. She was not bold enough to record what she was getting done. We will not know now. There will be no evidence. There will be no evidence that what she's saying is true, except for those who are actually there to experience it. But because she was able to document it digitally with her phone, make videos every single day, speaking out about the lack of transportation, the lack of buses in her area in Lagos, basically. She was able to bring about the change that she wanted to see, and she broke out of invisibility. She was able to become visible by virtue of her excellent digital footprint. Last but not least, network upward. Make sure that you are always learning from people who have gone ahead of you. You cannot know everything. You cannot have all the knowledge in the world. It's very important that you surround yourself with people who are able to coach you, who are able to teach you, who you are able to go to and speak to and get wisdom, get knowledge, get advice from in the work that you're doing so that you can also function, flourish, and grow. Thank you so much for listening to me today. Thank you for joining me on this journey and this conversation. Um, thank you so much. I'm able right now. I'm willing also to take any questions that you have, any questions, any feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Emanuela. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Emanuela, please. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Please a round of applause. I'm not seeing those digital claps. Please and please. This has been so insightful. I use my notes, even though I'm a guy, and the topic speaks to breaking invisibility for women. Myself as a guy, I've been able to, jot down so many things, so many nuggets, so many insights. A very good example is you are too broke to be invisible. Immediately you said that, I just started smiling. you know, Network upwards. The more you know, the higher you go. Amazing. So many. You need to see my note right now. So many. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have several questions
Thank
in the
you.
chat
Thank
box.
you.
So I'm going to be going through those questions. and I trust you to do justice to the questions. So the first
All right.
question says, how can women leaders practice ruthless execution without being unfairly labeled as aggressive or difficult? I'll go again. How can women leaders practice ruthless execution without being unfairly labeled as aggressive or difficult?
Okay. Okay. I love that question. I love that question. Thank you for that. How can women leaders practice ruthless execution without being labeled as mean, harsh, the word that they use, right? Um,
Yes.
I I want to now take us back to communication. Think about communication. The manner in which you express your desire for something to be done matters. The manner in which you express the desire for something to be done matters. Now, there are situations where you have to be firm. And I want us to look at parenting, for instance, right? We have parents who, when we're growing up, they were very firm, very strict, very direct in what they wanted to get done. But even with that strictness, even with that firmness, there was still space where they were able to, like, communicate with us, gist with us. We could laugh with them. We know that they are very, very serious. Like, they are very serious about what they are doing. But you're able to talk to them, it's able to relate with them. You can still go to them like, mommy, daddy, that type of thing. So ruthless execution, it's not just about pushing. It's not just about pushing as a human leader. No, you can push, yeah, but it's very, very important to make sure that even while you are being firm, even while you are being, rooted in what you want to get done, you're making sure that people are able to see that you're still the same, you're still the same kind, sweet, generous person that you are. You can still come back and people can say, okay, let me see how you are. How are you doing? How are you? For instance, I had this one person I asked to get a video done for me because we put our videos as well. And so I said the deadline is Tuesday against Wednesday. And I didn't get any feedback on Thursday, on Friday, I didn't get nothing. Ha, my work has already gone. That week was already gone. Now the expected thing would be like, okay, you get angry, you get upset. What haven't they done? What haven't they done? What haven't they? Yes, it's very, very normal. But then taking aggression to the person at that time will not necessarily, you know, make them do it quicker. No, you being aggressive, just straight up aggression would not make them do it quicker. It will. So going there, you speaking to them, okay, hi, how are you? How was your day today? How far my work? What about the asked you to make? What happened? Why didn't you deliver? Make a connection first. Very, very important. Make an emotional connection first. And then it's going to be easy for you to make sure that they get the work done. If they see you as a dictator, as somebody to be feared, it may not be so easy to get the work done. But if they see you as somebody that they can relate with, somebody they can talk to, and um they can confide in even, it's going to be very easy for you to continue to keep that flow of good work going. It's going to be very, very easy. So my counsel to you is communication, the manner in which you speak, in which you ask for things to get done, in which you check in on people who are getting the work done for you is very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So there's another question from Farida Abdulaziz. She said, how can women balance leadership role and personal life? How can
How
women
can
balance
women,
leadership role and personal life?
okay, how can women balance leadership roles and personal life? Wow, that's a very, very good question. Um, I don't want to use myself because I feel like if I use myself, I'm going to be very, very biased. I'm a first daughter. I'm the first born in my family. So leadership has always been something that I had to do. It came naturally. It came with the job description of being the first child, the first daughter. But in the event where leadership is something that you do at work and then you have personal life, it's very, very important that you have people, you have structures. Structures are very, very important. For instance, You could be a leader at work. You have foundation that you're running, like me. And many times I just think to myself, wow, I would not really be able to function so much without people that I trust, like my community managers. I have two people who are community managers in the group chat. Two, one. I have people essentially who I lean on, right? Who I lean on when things get too much because you're not just leading your foundation or leading your no, you're also doing stuff at work. You're also carrying people at work. It's very very important that you are able to delegate because sometimes it probably can get heavy. The work you're doing can get heavy. If you have to separate your leadership role from your personal life, then probably you're doing a lot. Probably doing a lot. So what I would say is I would say set structures, have people that you can lean on to help you because leadership is not just about carrying people. Sometimes it's about allowing people to carry you as well. It's about being carried by people as well, many times. So I would say have people that you can delegate to, have people that you can talk to that can fill in the gaps for you. And then your personal life, just your personal life is very, very important. I don't want you to come to a place where you are all leader, 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 and you don't have time for other people. You don't have people that are important. I don't want that. I don't want it to come to that. I want it to be that you are able to have both. And so in order to do that, just have structure set in place. Okay, by this time I will do this. By this time I will ask my friends to help. I'll ask my community leader to help me do this. By this time I'll ask my my to do this. Just make sure that you are delegating and that you have structures set in place, that you stick to those structures. Very, very important. If you say you're going to spend an amount of hours, let's say you're going to spend 2 hours doing work and being a leader, spend those 2 hours doing work and being a leader. And then if you say you're going to spend an hour, 30 minutes in personal life, personal growth, please do that. Essentially have structures, divvy up your time in such a way that you are not stressed out and you are still able to do the work and do the things that you love to and would want to do. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, perfectly well. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you. I
you.
have like 3 or 4 more questions to go. So
Okay.
the next
Okay.
question is from Carmen Anderson. She says, women tend to do so much both at home and at work to prove themselves and
Mm,
as expected of the agenda. You also mentioned that women shouldn't relent until tasks are completed, even under pressure. So how do we balance all this and still avoid being stressed out? I think this also relates to the question you just provided answer to. So I will
mm,
quickly move to the next question. Okay, so goodness Alta is saying be unapologetically bold. I think she dropped this when you are making your presentation. Be unapologetically bold. Sandra Brown said, I work in a male dominated field where I am often judged as a woman, second guessed, and expected to fail. Interesting.
mm.
She also said, I appreciate this session and it gives me a lot of perspective. Which what is the mindset or action shift you recommend for a woman just starting out in the corporate space? I'll read that again. What is the mindset or action shift you recommend for a woman just starting out in the corporate space?
All right. I love that question. What is the mindset for a woman who's just starting out in the corporate space? The number one tip I would give you is to know where you are, know where you are, know what you're doing, the role that you have been employed to do. You have to know it very well. Whatever it is that you have been employed, they're paying you money to know how to do a particular thing. You must know how to do it well. You have to know how to do it well. Now, another thing I'm going to say is please don't let anybody look down on you. Don't. Yes, I completely relate to, you know, being a woman in a male dominated field. Let's say perhaps you're an engineer, and there's so many male engineers, not many female engineers. Ha, I know how it can be. I definitely, definitely understand. But one weapon that you will have and you will appreciate, like I said earlier, is self-empowerment. is self-empowerment. If you are able to know how to do your work and a little bit more, you'll be indispensable. You'll be indispensable. If you're able to know how to do your work, you have knowledge of things that most other people don't have knowledge of, most other engineers don't have knowledge of, you're going to go very, very, very far. And that's something that really I had to imbibe very early as a student, and how I've carried it over even now, even into my work. Um, how after classes I would go to the library, I would spend time poring over books, just reading and trying to look for things that I know for a fact that my classmates they cannot know it. They won't know it because they don't spend as much time as I do. They don't make the sacrifice that I do to read more, read outside, to ensure that I am well equipped for the next class, for the next test, for the next exam. So if you are able to build yourself mentally, it does not matter whether you're a woman, they will have to respect you. They will have to respect you. By the time your boss starts calling you and asking your opinions because of what you know and how much knowledge you have received by virtue of spending time with books, spending time with articles, with literature, with things that are going to add to you and add to your work, you'll be indispensable. There's nothing anybody can do anymore. So number one advice is to know your work. Number two is to know your work very well. Spend time learning more. Do extra learning. Extra learning is what's going to carry you. Extra learning what's going to carry you. Extra learning. And don't be shy. Like I said earlier, don't let anybody look down on you. Don't be shy to speak out, to speak up. The more you know is the more you want to talk. I'm telling you, like the more you know is the more confident you will be when you begin to speak. A man who is on the ground is not afraid of falling down. That's an Igbo proverb. A man who is on the ground already, he's not going to be afraid of falling down or falling from a height because he's already on the ground. So the more you read, is the stronger your feet are going to be on the ground. The more you learn, is the stronger feet are going to be on the ground when you eventually begin to speak and show forth your expertise. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, perfectly. Thank you so much. So, my
Thank you.
last question,
Okay.
amazing. Those round of applause are coming in. I'm so happy seeing those applauses. Okay, so my last question will be if there is one key message or piece of advice you would like every participant of this webinar to leave with today, what will it be?
Can you
If
come
there is
again?
one key if there is one key message or piece of advice from you that you would like every participant to leave with today as we are leaving this webinar, what will it be?
Okay. If there's one key message that
Or
I would
advice?
want everybody to leave with as I'm leaving this webinar. Wow, that's a very loaded question. But will be my answer to that question will be to know God. Just know God. Genuinely speaking, I don't think I can stand here and say I have made as far as I have made it without the help of God. No, I can't. There is nothing that I do now that I will be able to do without the help of God. The spirit of excellence that I imbibe, that I carry, is not possible to have it without God Himself, because God Himself is excellence. He's the one who gives excellence. He's the one who will push you and who will help you to do the things that you want to do and will help you to do them very, very well. So, one key advice is to know God, because He's the only one that can carry, He's the only one that can see you through. Know God for yourself. We are adults now. We are too grown to be living life without um knowledge of a higher being, of a higher being than us, of a supreme being than us. We're too old for that. Life is too serious for that. So please know God for yourself. Come to the knowledge of God. Serve Him faithfully, devotedly, and you will see how your life will turn around for good. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Emanuela. It's been an
Thank you.
insightful session. You've done justice to all the questions, your presentations, amazing. Thank you so much for coming to the Value Loop Hub to come and share in your wealth of knowledge. We really appreciate you. On behalf of the Value Loop Hub community, we want to say thank you to you. And as we wrap up today's session, one key message stand out. Break invisibility begins with each one of us. Let's go beyond inspiration and take action by amplifying voices, creating opportunities, and supporting women to lead and thrive in underserved spaces. Thank you once again, Emanuela. And thank you everyone for joining today's session of the Value Loop. We still
Thank
remain
you.
the
Thank you
Value
so
Loop
much for
Hub.
having me.
You can check us out on YouTube
Thank
at
you.
Thank you, Manela. So you can check us out on YouTube at the Value Loop. We are also on WhatsApp channel as the Value Loop Hub. And you can also look us up on LinkedIn at the Value Loop Hub. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining today's session. We hope it's been impactful, it's been insightful. Myself and my team, we want to appreciate each and everyone. Join us again in 2 weeks' time, as we bring another session of the Value Loop webinar. Thank you very much. I do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Goodbye, everyone.